Not everything that matters needs to be loud. Some conversations help you pause, some help you see differently, and some stay with you long after they end. Welcome to Inspire Someone today, my dear listeners, a space for honest conversations about life, work, and the choices that shape who we become. No quick fixes, no borrowed certainty, just real stories, thoughtful reflection, and the quiet courage to live with intention. This is Inspire Someone today, where conversations are human, reflective, and meant to stay with you. Hello and welcome to Inspire Someone today, my dear listeners. This is episode 177. And before we begin, let me start with a question. If someone looked at your life today as a portfolio, what would they find? A career? Certainly. But what about your relationships, your health, your curiosity, your experiences, the people you spend time with, the things you keep postponing, the dreams you have quietly put away? When I started this Portfolio Life series, I thought I knew what the theme was. I thought it was about people who had built interesting careers, people who had worn multiple hats, people who had reinvented themselves. And while all of that is true, 6 conversations later, I realized portfolio life is much deeper than that. It is not about having multiple careers, it's about building a life that remains meaningful through different seasons. And that's what I would like to reflect on today, not as a summary of 6 conversations, but as someone who had the privilege of sitting across 6 remarkable guests and walking away changed. A few years ago, when I started Inspire Someone today, I wasn't thinking about portfolios. I was simply hoping to have meaningful conversations. 177 episodes later, I have learned something interesting. Meaningful conversations have a way of changing the person asking the questions. This series seriously changed me. The first conversation with Rakesh Khar. Now, if you have spent decades in broadcasting, constantly dealing with deadlines, uncertainty, and change, you probably learn a thing or two about endurance. And one line from Rakesh stayed with me. Bring value for the day. Such a simple idea. Bring value for the day. But the more I thought about it, the more profound it became. Not bring value for the quarter, not bring value for the appraisal cycle, not bring value for the next promotion, bring value for the day. I think many of us underestimate how powerful that mindset is, especially in a world obsessed with outcomes. Maybe endurance isn't built through grand plans. Maybe it's built through daily contribution, through showing up, to staying relevant, to continuously to add value. Perhaps equally important is learning how to communicate that value as well. Because creating value matters, but ensuring people understand it matters too. Then came Nikita Jain, one of the youngest guests in the series, but someone who brought a refreshing perspective. Her journey into public policy reminded me that not all careers are designed on a spreadsheet. Some are discovered, some are explored, and some are stumbled into. And one idea she mentioned stayed with me and could connect to a concept that Rakesh had also mentioned in the earlier episode. This was the Chesterton's fence principle. Before removing a fence, understand why it was built. And I would like to share an interesting anecdote that Rakesh had shared. This was many, many years back in a remote village where the government officials, looking at the plight of the women folks in the village, walking many kilometers to draw water, made a point to get water closer to the village so that the women folks doesn't have to travel many a distance to fetch water. Well, this was an accomplishment from the municipal authorities, the women folks were the most disappointed lot. Guess why? They used the whole commute from their village to the water source every day as a means of interacting with the fellow women folks in the village, talking about things that was happening, using it as their median, as their mode to let go of things. And here, the municipal authorities, in the intent, in the genuine interest of helping the women folks, took the freedom away from them. That's a great example of Chesterton's fence principle, which is before removing a fence, understand why it was built. I found myself reflecting on this, and this particular story came up because many of us spend our lives following paths without questioning them or rejecting, without understanding them. And Nikita reminded me that curiosity is not a rebellion. Curiosity is understanding before deciding. And perhaps that's a useful life lesson beyond careers as well. Then came Rajiv Vaidyanathan, and I have to admit, this conversation made me uncomfortable in the best possible way. Rajiv spoke about intentional discomfort, about deliberately putting yourself in situations that stretch you. But the idea that stayed with me was something else, the distinction between things we have to do and the things we want to do. I repeat it, things we have to do and things we want to do. And if I'm being completely honest, there have been phases in my own life where the have to list completely overwhelmed the want to. Work, responsibilities, commitments, deadlines, the list never ends. And slowly, the things that energizes you start disappearing. The hobbies, the network, the interests, the curiosity. So what Rajiv reminded me is that a meaningful life requires protecting the things we want to do from being swallowed by the things we have to do. And that stayed with me. At this point in the series, something shifted for me. 3 episodes done in Portfolio Life series, great insights. Then I realized Portfolio Life wasn't about accumulation. It wasn't about doing more things. It wasn't about collecting more titles. It was about alignment. The question isn't what else can I add, but the question was what deserves my attention. And that changed the way I started listening the rest of the conversations in this particular series. And then came Nikki Barua. And perhaps no one captured the spirit of personal agency more powerfully. One idea from Nikki keeps returning to me. If you're not offered a seat at the table, build your own table. Now that's easy to celebrate as a quote, but if you sit with it for a moment, it's actually a very challenging idea. Because building your own table requires courage, confidence, requires conviction, and the self-belief. It requires believing in yourself before the world does. And I suspect many of us know exactly where in our lives we are waiting for an invitation instead of creating an opportunity. That conversation wasn't really about reinvention, it was about alignment and about becoming of who you already are. Then came Anu said, what expected it to be a conversation about money turned into a conversation about confidence, about agency, about choices, about freedom. And one thing I appreciated deeply was her emphasis on remaining curious, staying a lifelong learner, and being willing to let go of the status quo. Because many of life's biggest decisions are not purely financial. They're emotional, they're psychological, they're identity driven, and perhaps that's why financial confidence matters that much more. Not because it changes the bank balance, but because it expands one's choices. And finally, there was MD Ramaswamy, a conversation that was personally special. MD was someone I admired from a distance when I was beginning my career, and to sit across from him years later and explore the journey was surreal. So what struck me most wasn't the number of careers he had. It wasn't the startups that he started. It wasn't even the reinventions. It was the consistency of curiosity, a curiosity that simply never settled. And a reminder that some of life's most important assets don't show up on a balance sheet. Relationships, trust, reputation, goodwill, being fair, helping people, sharing what you know. Those things compound too, and perhaps they compound more reliably than anything else. As I look back on this series, these thoughts stay with me, my dear listeners. First, you can live many lives in one lifetime. I repeat, you can live many lives in one lifetime. Second, the things that compound the most are often invisible. Relationship, trust, health, reputation, learning. And the third one, growth rarely happens by accident. Whether it's intentional discomfort, curiosity, reinvention, financial confidence, or disciplined consistency, growth requires participation. So, what is portfolio life? After 6 conversations, my answer is different from where I started. Portfolio life is not a portfolio of careers. It is a portfolio of relationships. It is a portfolio of health. It's a portfolio of learning. It's a portfolio of experiences. It's a portfolio of contributions. It's a portfolio of curiosity. It's a portfolio of becoming. Careers are only a part of the story. Life is much bigger than that. And perhaps that's a question I would like to leave you with today. 10 years from now, when you look back at the life you're building today, what are you investing in that you hope it will compound? A huge thanks and gratitude to Rakesh, Nikita, Rajiv, Anu, and MD for the generosity and wisdom. And thank you for each one of you, my dear listeners, for being part of this journey called Portfolio Life. And if this episode resonated with you, you like the Portfolio Life series, I would love to hear from you what next you would want to include as part of the series. And anybody from your network, if you think can benefit from this, feel free to share this episode and all the Portfolio Life series episodes with them. Until next time, do take care of yourself and keep inspiring.